Just a glorious day in downtown Detroit. Comerica Park, home of the Tigers. Marlins are here for a brief two-game series which opened last night with a bang, a big bang. The Tigers poured 7 runs out in the 5th inning with 3 home runs. And the Marlins try to get a win and escape to Atlanta with a split in this two-game set. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Preston Wilson. This is a typical American League lineup here with the Detroit Tigers, thick with hitters and good ones.
Oh, they got some really good hitters. It starts with Miguel Cabrera, but you go past that, and then they got these new guys like Steven Moyer who are really swinging the bat well. So even though J.D. Martinez missed a little time, they're still doing all right offensively.
Funny you mentioned Miggy. That was the big at-bat last night. And for Adam Conley, he was cruising. He had 9 strikeouts into the 5th. Iglesias popped a homer, but the Cabrera at-bat was key.
Well, the Cabrera bat was amazing because you see Conley had him locked up early, fooled him with a 2-strike inside fastball. Miggy goes, okay, I'll foul that away. Then another 3-2 pitch went to the slider. Okay, I'll foul that away. Then the third at bat, changeup. And what makes that happen is Miguel Cabrera had just taken a nasty slider right before that changeup. He was fouling off the fastballs on that at bat, so Conley had nowhere to go, no way to get him out other than to try the changeup, and it resulted in a 3-run home run.
So, having watched last night's game, certainly Tom Kohler is aware that this Tiger lineup is tough. The Tigers have taken all 3 against the Fish. Game plan for Tom Kohler.
Tom Kohler's got to establish his fastball. He's got to make sure he keeps these guys honest inside, and that way it'll open up that wipeout swing and miss curveball that he has.
Daniel Norris is an intriguing guy, a lefty, not a soft tossing lefty, and he goes for the Tigers. Mid-90s fastball with some other good stuff in his arsenal.
Well, he's got good stuff, but he can miss over the middle of the plate, and that's what the Marlins got to do. Take advantage of those mistakes in the middle of the strike zone.
And guess what, Preston? It's Tom Kohler's birthday today. How about that? And he gets the start against the Tigers. We'll hear from TK on his start as Miami and Detroit finish off a mini 2-gamer in the Motor City. Sponsor. of Miami Marlins baseball. In Detroit, afternoon baseball, Marlins and Tigers. Let's say hello to Jessica Blaylock. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Rich. Tom Kohler on the mound today for the Marlins. In his last 7 starts, he's posted a record of 4-2 to go along with an ERA of 3.43. This is the first time, though, that he's seen Detroit this season. Here is TK on his game plan when it comes to the Tigers and what he has seen from the Marlins offense as of late.
You know, they're a really solid lineup, top to bottom, very deep. So you want to just make sure you execute pitches the whole way through. You know, you want to try to limit the damage at any point you can, because, you know, coming into this series, we're all well aware that if we allow them to get a big inning, they're gonna go out there and take it. So just like any other day, you want to keep the team within striking distance or give them a chance to win. And you know, when you're playing a team that you haven't seen too much, you try to pitch to your strengths and hope that it works out.
As a pitcher, obviously, it helps to have run support. And what have you seen from the way this offense has been playing lately?
These guys are playing really well, and we're seeing contributions from different guys every night. I think that's what it takes, and that's what it's going to take for us to get to where we want to go. You know, we're playing good baseball, but I don't think we're playing to the top of our abilities yet. So I'm looking forward to watching the lineup continue to grow and just seeing guys continue to step up in different situations.
And like Rich mentioned earlier, today is Tom Kohler's birthday, so a very happy 30th birthday to TK, who would love to get the win today against the Tigers. When we return, it is first pitch between the Tigers and the Marlins, who are putting a wrap on this short 2-game series here in Detroit. It's the birthday boy TK on the mound for the Fish. Daniel Norris will get the start for the Tigers.
By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By the Florida Department of Transportation. Drive sober or get pulled over. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. Carousel at Comerica Park as the Tigers and the Marlins get ready to go. Marlins lineup brought to you by UL Sports Medicine, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Preston Wilson.
Well, today Don Mattingly sends out Ichiro, Prado, and Yelich to the top of 3 of the lineup. Then Marcelo Ozuna, Giancarlo Stanton, and Chris Johnson in the middle there. Derek Dietrich is 7th, Adeiny Etcheverry is 8th, and Jeff Mathis is the catcher, batting 9th.
Ichiro leads it off. Martin Prado, Christian Yelich right behind him. 2 for 4 was Ichiro last night. Daniel Norris into the windup, and his fastball catches the outside part. Adrian Johnson calls it a strike, and this ball game is underway. 14 shy is Ichiro, and he drills one to right, and it's going to hook foul. Ichiro has yet to homer this year, but he got into that one. Norris ahead in the count, 0-2. Daniel Norris, great story. Young guy still, 23. Toronto Blue Jays draft pick, traded last year. He was involved in the David Price trade, and he had to undergo surgery for thyroid cancer in the offseason. It was diagnosed early last year. Now he is cancer-free, and that's great news. And the Tigers are high on the potential. He had a back injury that slowed his 2016. Ichiro swings and misses. And so a strikeout for Norris to open his day. Tigers defensively, brought to you by Southwest. In the outfield, Justin Upton, Cameron Maben, and Steven Moya. Nick Castellanos, Miguel Cabrera. They're on the corners. Jose Iglesias, Ian Kinsler up the middle, and Jared Saltalamacchia is behind home plate. Here now is Prado. An 0 for 4 last night. Prado steps in. Very good against lefties this year. You see the batting average at 308, but 359 against left-handers. And Preston, as a team, Marlins are 12-5 against lefty starters.
Well, the Marlins have done a good job. I think they've had a solid approach against lefties, just not trying to pull them too much when they're right-handed hitters. And the lefties have been doing a good job of shooting the ball the other way. Yelich has done a good job at that. Justin Bour hasn't done that great against lefties, but he's done a pretty good job going the other way. Derek Dietrich, those guys are starting to get better at bats against left-handed pitching, but the righties have been really solid all year against lefties. Right there, what you're seeing with Norris is pretty much what makes him effective. Is he can spray the ball all around, and then he'll paint you on the inside corner or paint you outside. I think he's pretty much the definition of effectively wild sometimes.
Johnson City, Tennessee is where he was raised. That slider bounces in the dirt. Buick's big matchup. Marlins versus the Tigers versus lefties. Certainly Prado and Marcell Ozuna, two of the top guys in baseball. Ozuna second in baseball, first in the National League. 3-2. And Prado goes after a high fastball, dumps it into right center field for a hit.
Oh, that is absolutely lovely to get your day started off like that. Swing at a pitch that you probably shouldn't and end up just doing a little lob job out there over the second baseman's head. When you see the second baseman's back fully turned, you know you got a chance right there because you didn't hit it hard enough to go to the outfield.
Yeah, Miguel Cabrera, I think, described all of those things to Prado as he got to first base. Two guys carrying on right now. Miggy, of course, the goodwill ambassador here for the city of Detroit at first base. Now Yelich, who had 2 hits last night, including a double. And he chops that one wide of first.
Well, they had the mayor play here, play at first base with Sean Casey, and now Miguel, I guess he's going to be the ambassador at first base.
And prankster, too. Yelich opens the day in the top 6 in on-base percentage in the National League. Checks in at .399. And Norris's breaking ball is in the dirt. Saltalamacchia there to smother it. Yelich also in the top 10 in hitting. That .313 average just gets him under the wire, ties him with Gene Segura at 9th. No swing. You could hear Adrian Johnson working the plate.
Norris is another one of those lefties like Adam Conley that stands on the third base side of the rubber.
Yelich lines it to left, and it dives for a hit. Just gets down in front of Upton. So a pair of one-out hits for the Marlins. Now, getting hits last night wasn't an issue. The Marlins had 16 hits and scored just 5 runs.
Well, this is an illustration of what we talked about these Marlins hitting against lefties. See them just stay on this ball, not try to do too much, head buried on it, just serve it out into left field, take your singles, get on base, get that thing going. Just don't try to do too much, and that's a great approach by Yelich.
All time, when the Marlins get 16 hits, that's just the 16th loss since 1993, and that's against 108 wins. So you would think 16 hits, you're in, but not last night, not with that powerful Tigers lineup. And of course, here is Ozuna. We showed you how good he is against lefties. Best in the National League. Ozuna slugging .570. That's good for 7th in the National League. His batting average is also 7th in the National League. Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals leading in slugging percentage at .592. Daniel Murphy leading in average right now in the National League at .349.
That take right there is an illustration of why he's hitting .320. Even though that's a strike, that's not the strike you want to swing at for your first pitch. He's getting better pitches to hit, and he's taking strikes when he can afford to. Like the first pitch of your at bat, you don't want to hit that pitch on the outside black of the plate. His idea about hitting, his pitch recognition has gotten so much better. His game plan working with Barry and Frank Menechino has gotten so much better, so much more consistent, and he's doing a great job of executing it.
Another breaking ball, and Ozuna does not chase. Yeah, the walk rate's up, the chase rate is down, and the count right now at 3-1 with Stanton on deck.
When you lay off that pitch as a hitter, you realize this guy can't get you out. You're going to get yourself out. You've seen the fastball, you've seen the breaking ball, you were able to take that. Now it's just up to you put a good swing on something that's in the strike zone. And that's a little bit up, maybe at the top of the strike zone, maybe a little above. And that's why Ozuna's going, hey, look, yeah, I chased that pitch. I shouldn't have.
So Norris with the count 3-2. Prado at second, Yelich at first. Not running. And Ozuna takes strike 3 called.
See that? The pitch before that was in his head because you see him smiling afterwards, looking over at Barry, and he knew he shouldn't have swung at that pitch because Barry's been preaching patience to him, and then there, right, he's just thinking too much. He's there, just lets that ball go by because he couldn't pull the trigger because he's thinking too much.
So 2 strikeouts sandwiched around the 2 singles, and here's Stanton with 2 outs. Giancarlo last night with another bullet of a home run, a line drive to center. It went 442 feet and left at a very rapid pace. Left the bat at 115 miles an hour. But his last 10 games, very good. 400 average, 3 homers. Has scored 10 runs in that span. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow, Ramon De Jesus at first base with a quick trigger. Here's a look. That's close. It's hard to tell from behind the plate.
And the sad part about it is there's no real rule that dictates how far you have to go. It's a judgment call. So the umpire's never going to be wrong on that. You'll never see it overturned.
Fastball up to Giancarlo.
There is no imaginary line. I've heard guys say, well, if his wrists break. No, that's not a rule if your wrists break that. No, it's a total judgment call whether they feel like you actually went far enough, and who's to say where far enough is.
1-2. What's your scouting report on Daniel Norris?
Well, here it is, scouting report. Second go around is his second call up from Toledo this year. Just keep living, hashtag. Well, that came from his battle with thyroid cancer. Is now cancer free, got diagnosed last year, and hold that tiger. He was a Clemson commit until the Jays signed him in 2011 with their second-round pick.
And he strikes out both Ozuna and Stanton looking to end the first. And Miami strands 2. This game's underway and scoreless. Not too hot. Perfect day for baseball in Detroit. At Comerica, the Tigers line up. Brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Here they are. Ian Kinsler, Cameron Maybin, Miguel Cabrera. Victor Martinez, Nick Castellanos is in the middle, 5th. Justin Upton, Steven Moria, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Jose Iglesias is batting 9th. Saltalamacchia with 7 home runs this year. Batting average a little down, but showing good power.
Tom Kohler on his birthday gets Ian Kinsler, Cameron Maybin, and Miguel Cabrera to open up this ball game. And Kinsler takes a strike. The Tigers at 39 and 38. But they showed last night how powerful this offense can be. Kinsler was 1 for 4 with the double. Tigers blasted 3 home runs in that 5th inning. Iglesias hit the first. It was off Adam Conley. Cabrera hit the second, a 3-run shot against Conley. And then Nick Wickren came in, gave up a 2-run shot to Castellanos. 2-1 pitch, a strike for Kohler.
Wonder how many teams right now in baseball have a leadoff guy that's got 14 home runs. Like, that's just instant offense at the top of your lineup.
It's a good way to describe Kinsler, the type of player he's been in his career. Instant offense to right. Stanton can't get it. Lands on a hop, plays it well, and gets it to second, holding Kinsler to a single.
Stanton was going after this ball. He thought he had a chance. You could see his body language like he's getting ready to dive for it. Good jump on the ball. See him going there, and he's, oh, no, he's got a barrel out. Take it. Bare hands that ball to Kinsler. He's thinking he might have too thick and it might get by him. Going hard all the way, and then Lady's got to break it down and then get back.
So Maybin now. Cameron back in Detroit, where he started his professional career. Fastball for a strike, and a solid year in Atlanta last season. And he's off to a pretty good start here. Started the year on the disabled list with a fractured wrist.
Maybin is one of those guys that has turned the corner offensively the last few years. There was always flashes of it here and there, and you could see the potential, but he hadn't really put together, you know, those good solid seasons that you thought he was capable of. And now you're starting to see the at-bats getting better. His approach is more solid.
maybe actually a player of the week in the American League in late May. And for whatever reason, in this ballpark, he's lights out. This is his 22nd game here at Comerica as a Tiger this year, and he has hit in 20 of 21 at a .439 clip. I remember talking to him last year in Atlanta and asked him what the difference was with his swing, and he said just simple, simplicity, just don't get too complicated. It's amazing how you hear that. JT Realmuto had the same remark earlier this season. The less complicated, the more successful. Two balls, two strikes. Temperatures creeping towards the 80s. In the dirt. Nice job by Mathis. Kinsler has to hold him. What used to be, when it opened, a really tough place to hit, especially for power hitters. Well, with the dimensions after the change and on a warm day, the ball can jump here.
Well, in some areas, the fence was brought in 25 feet, so that's going to make a big difference in the way this ballpark plays. I remember coming here early, and it was a cab ride out to the outfield wall.
Full count. Kinsler runs. Maybin hits off the end of the bat, and it squirts out into right field. Boy, how about that?
Wow.
In the perfect spot with the perfect spin.
Yeah, that's amazing that ball gets through. Tom Koehler's got to be sick right here because he should at least gotten one out on that. But the second baseman has to cover early with the base runner in motion, and it just goes right through that hole. And if you're Cameron Maybin, you got to be like, wow, that's the fact that I got a hit on that means I'm going pretty good. Jeez.
So now comes the thunder. Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Nick Castellanos, with Justin Upton right behind. And here is Miggy, who blasted one to left, a 3-run homer. Sends that one to right, down the line and deep and foul. Cabrera now with 17 homers, 16 doubles. A little below average at driving a runner in from third. But there's not much you can say about Miguel Cabrera that's average. Hit him. Cabrera grazed by the pitch, on his way to first. And the Tigers, right from the jump, have the bags loaded and nobody out. Miami defensively. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton in the outfield. Prado and Chris Johnson getting the start. He's at first. Echeverria and Dietrich up the middle. Jeff Mathis behind the plate. And for Tom Koehler right now, a big moment. No place to put Victor Martinez. And you've got dangerous right-handed bats in Castellanos and Upton. Martinez, the switch hitter. Ball gets loose. Mathis runs it down.
Well, this is where Koehler's really going to have his command. He needs to be in the lower half of the strike zone. Try to get himself a ground ball here to minimize the damage if he can't get a punch out. But he's coming into some pretty good hitters and pretty hot hitters. Castellanos swinging the bat well. Victor Martinez is Victor Martinez.
And he had 2 hits last night. Kohler misses up, and it's 2-0. Last time out, it was a rough first inning. Remember, Chris Bryant, Wilson Contreras homered, and the Cubs put 4 on the board. Kohler, though, in the second inning was a completely different guy. And from the second inning on, he threw 5 shutout innings.
Well, the birthday boy's got his work cut out.
On a hop, and it's by Johnson and into right field. Kinsler scores, Maybin scores, and Cabrera ends up at third.
Chris Johnson got shielded by Cabrera right here at the ball. He couldn't see it. Miggy did a good job of blocking the sight of Johnson, because his ball wasn't hit that hard. And watch him, he's kind of shielded right there. See, the ball goes on the front side of Cabrera. Chris Johnson late to react because he couldn't really figure out where the ball was. And that's a creative base running play, just kind of, not really being in too much of a hurry to get out of there and get to second base by Miggy.
So 2-0 Detroit. A 2-run single for Martinez. And now here is Castellanos out of Davie. Was headed to Miami to play baseball before he was drafted and signed. First round pick, compensation pick. The guy who grew up a Marlins fan. First 2 years of his high school career, he was at American Heritage, a teammate of Eric Hosmer's. And then next 2 years, Archbishop McCarthy. Castellanos does have a tie to Detroit. His grandfather, a firefighter in Detroit. Pitch in the dirt, and boy did he blast one last night, and he had a triple and a single, so he was a double shy of the cycle.
A lot of people felt like this was going to be a big year for him, and he's living up to it. 14 home runs, 42 RBI coming into today, 302 average.
And last night, we mentioned the 3 hits. This is the home run against Nick Wickren. And that's a long ways out there to center. 420 to straightaway center. Kohler just missed. Full count, 3-2. Tigers also have his brother in their system. Ryan Castellanos is a pitcher who went to Nova Southeastern. Three and two, nobody out. Tigers open the bottom of the first with singles from Ian Kinsler and Cameron Maybin. Tom Kohler hit Miguel Cabrera. Martinez snuck a ground ball under the glove of Chris Johnson for a 2-run single. And that pop-up will find the seats.
.23 pitches already for Kohler. No outs recorded on his 3-2 count right now to Castellanos. He's got to get it out. Got to get one some way. Get you a strikeout, get you a ground ball, but you got to get an out on the board right here.
Ball 4. And they're loaded again. And there's still nobody out. Juan Nieves out for a visit. A lot of baseball this afternoon. Cubs and Reds are already underway. The Cubs a 5-0 lead already in the bottom of the third. Cubs have won the first 2 of that series. Anthony Rizzo, talking about local products. Anthony Rizzo with his 19th home run, a 3-run shot. Mets and Nationals are a night game tonight. Here is Justin Upton, who knows Koehler quite well.
See the numbers there for Upton against Tom Koehler. 375 average with a home run. Koehler has struck him out 5 times, though.
Infield up the middle looking for 2. Upton lines one into center field. That's a hit. Cabrera scores. Martinez eases into third. And the Tigers put another run on the board.
Well, you know, when you look at some of these balls from Koehler, that ball is hit well enough to get through. The Cameron Maybin ball wasn't hit hard at all. The base hit by Martinez just kind of trickled through over there. It's, you know, Cabrera shielded Johnson on the ball, so they're not really hitting him that hard. They're just hitting it in the right places right now.
Steven Moya at the plate. Moya, 24-year-old young prospect, born in Puerto Rico and raised in the Dominican, and big, 6'6", 230. Still nobody out. 4 hits, a walk, and a hit batter. Bags loaded. And the Marlins infield still hopeful for a ground ball. They're back. Count 2-1. Moya's had a sore knee, which has kept him out of Detroit's lineup. An aggressive rip. Also, has been down in the minor leagues this year, and since being called back up, has been hot with 3 homers in the 7 games since he's been up, including 2 against Seattle last week.
He's a big, big kid. 6'7", 260. Good mercy.
Got a piece of the bat. That's 2-2. Tom Koehler really needs something to go his way right now. An Adam Ball, a ground ball double play, a strikeout. How many balls has Jeff Mathis had to smother already?
He's earning his money today. He has to block a lot of balls in the dirt, especially the extra concentration when there's a man on third base to not have that ball go to the backstop, because that's going to score a run.
You know, 32 pitches right now for Koehler. And he got him. So Koehler gets his first out. It's a strikeout of Moya. And a big out to get.
Looks like 79 miles an hour. I want to see the pitch. It looked like maybe a changeup. I couldn't tell if it was a breaking ball, but Moya was definitely out front of it. Let's take a look at it. I don't know, maybe a breaking ball, but it just looked weird the way it came out of his hand. It could have been I don't know. I'd have to see the grip, see if I could see the grip and replay it back again. It's Good pitch, needed pitch. Definitely had Moria fooled. He wasn't looking for that at all.
And now Saltalamacchia.
See if we can see the grip here. Oh, that's a curveball. Okay. That's a curveball. It just came out kind of funky. You know, it's good drop in there. But that was a much needed out for Tom Koehler.
For Saltalamacchia, a Marlin for a season plus. Released last year, ended up in the minors with Arizona. Spent some time with the Diamondbacks as well. You mentioned the home run that he hit against the Marlins. That was a backdoor breaking ball from Jose Fernandez. Tigers won both those games to open the season. It's 2-1. Dustin McGowan starting the process. So just like the Cubs game, a rough first inning for Koehler. Saltalamacchia left center field. Ozuna tracks it, makes the catch. Tagging at third is Victor Martinez, and he will score. And so the Tigers add another run, and it's Saltalamacchia that drives it home. And here comes Iglesias, the 9th man to come to the plate here in the first.
It has been a rough start for the birthday boy on the mound today. Tom Koehler with 37 pitches already in this inning. He's going to have to do some really serious work getting his command back to even think about going deep into this game.
It's one thing to have a stressful inning. It's another thing to throw 40-plus pitches in your first inning.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden the wheels are going off, the bells and the wheels, the alarm bells, and then trying to figure out, okay, what do you do next if you're Don Mattingly and Juan Nieves, if Koehler continues on this track, and if the Marlins have to go to the pen early.
They were bases were loaded twice before he recorded the first out, getting that strikeout of Steven Moya.
Iglesias had the home run last night that started that big 5th inning. It was a 2-run homer and brought the Tigers within a run. Koehler started towards the dugout. Adrian Johnson said it was just off the plate. And he was right.
Well, you got to give Brad Ausmus some credit, because him putting Ian Kinsler in motion in the Maben at bat is really what opened up this inning, because that little ball squirted through there. Then you end up with first and third with Cabrera up, and now you got a pitch. End up hitting him, and from there on, things just started to come unraveled a little bit. So it's one of those moves that a lot of teams have trouble putting guys in motion sometime, but he trusted Maben to put the ball in play. Kinsler on the move, opened up the infield.
'44th pitch of the inning coming up. And Iglesias hangs in the at bat. Obviously, the Marlins' hope is that Koehler does what he did against the Cubs, and that is after giving up 4 in the first inning. Really shut everything down for the next 5 innings and get through 6. With this high a pitch count, though, that's pretty ambitious.
Pitch looked like it might have been a perfect pitcher's pitch, but Koehler's been so much around the strike zone, balls up, balls down in the dirt. It's kind of hard for an umpire to lean his way on that borderline pitch.
Runners on the move, full count, 2 outs. High pop up, Johnson with Dietrich's help. And it's Dietrich who makes the catch, fighting the sun on a bright day in Detroit. And a struggle for Koehler in the first. 4-0 Detroit. Down, brought to you by La Lechonera. The Ambassador Bridge. Gateway to Canada. 4-0 Detroit. And now Daniel Norris has a nice lead. Chris Johnson slices one foul. Derek Dietrich, Danny Echeverria in the second. Miami had 2 hits in the first. But Norris also had 3 strikeouts.
Caught Ozuna and Stanton looking to end that first frame.
Johnson to right. Moya's back in there, and he makes the catch. Well, one of the things about Daniel Norris, if you follow baseball, you've probably read a little bit about Norris. Norris is a nonconformist, I guess is the way that he puts it best. He has a Volkswagen van. Nicknamed that van Shaggy after the Scooby-Doo character, and spends a lot of time in that van traveling the United States. Surfing enthusiast, camper, photographer as well.
Rich, they told that young man, you're not going to be satisfied until you're pitching for the Detroit Tigers and you're living in a van down by the river. But it works for him. I'm sure he spends a little time other places as well.
He's a very bright guy, and careful there, because He was a Clemson commit, and I believe you were a Clemson commit.
That's right. So that's why I get him. I get his personality. You know, it takes when someone walks along your same path in certain ways, yeah, there's some similarities there.
Dietrich walks, and you saw a few of those pitches were on the border. Look at that.
Yeah.
All of them could have been called strikes.
That's pretty incredible. Well, I mean, if anything, we've seen that Adrian Johnson does have a tight strike zone, didn't give the borderline pitches to Kolar. So, I mean, this is a good day for a hitter. You can shrink that box a little bit, look really in one area, and, you know, right now Adrian Johnson is leaning more towards ball than strike on borderline pitches.
Echeverria had 3 hits last night. This is the end of a long homestand for the Tigers. They've gone 5-3 on the stand. Swept a 4-game series against Seattle, and then were swept by Cleveland. And Cleveland continues to rock. They won their 11th straight yesterday, beating Atlanta 5-3 in Atlanta. Of course, that's where the Marlins are headed tonight. Some wild stuff in baseball last night, Press.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, late night, early morning. Echeverria fouls it off. It's hard to score runs, it seems, in San Francisco. That's a pitcher's park. I think we'd all agree. Well, Oakland beat the Giants 13-11 last night, and both teams combined to score 11 runs in the last 2 innings of that game.
Wow.
In 2 games, Oakland scored 21 runs there, and they've won both games. Echeverria lines it into left center field, and that's going to get by Maben and roll all the way to the wall. Echeverria scooting around second. Dietrich will score, and it's a triple for Echeverria, and Miami's on the board. A 1-out triple. It's 4-1.
Yeah, see Echeverria, the 3-ball to the wall right there. Great swing. Picks on a breaking ball, just stays through it. And when you see Cameron Maben turn his back and put his head down, you know that ball's hit well, because he can run down pretty much everything out there, and that was a triple off the bat.
Now Mathis in an important at bat. A chance to make it 4-2. Fastball is up from Norris. Detroit's infield is back, except for Castellanos at third base. Now he's backing up. Cabrera is halfway at first. And a strike. Mathis getting the start behind the plate. Ichiro on deck. 1-1. And it's fouled back. And now Norris is hunting strikeout. And he got 3 of them in the first. Ichiro, Ozuna, and Stanton. Mathis needs contact here.
Yeah, they're conceding this run. Out infield's playing back. Now Castellanos over at third is moved back. But this is a good inning for the Marlins because you answer back. You don't allow the pitcher to get that shutdown inning after that big first inning that the Detroit Tigers had.
Norris has that good back foot breaking ball to right-handed bats. It's almost like we're seeing less and less lefties throw changeups.
Yes, and we're seeing more righties throw changeups.
2-2. Ball in the dirt. It seems that that pitch there, that sharp slider that descends down, I'm not sure if you described it as the disappearing slider, the one that starts as strike and ends in the dirt.
Well, that pitch is good for lefties who throw harder. That's a weapon for guys who throw a lot harder as a lefty.
Come on,
Oh,
Adrian.
Mathis
That ball's fucking down. That ball's fucking down.
gets rung up.
Don't look at it.
And you could hear the exchange between Mathis and Adrian Johnson. We do apologize for the language. Johnson finished that burst of Mathis by saying, "Don't look back. Let's take a look."
Right on the corner.
It's a strike.
But it's also the borderline pitches that Kohler wasn't getting. I'm sure that's what Mathis is pressing, as well as Dietrich took similar pitching and got called a ball.
So if the Marlins are going to get this second run home, Ichiro is going to have to do something here. He struck out back in the first.
I know Mathis was upset, but honestly, as a hitter, you can't take that pitch. It's too close to take. With 2 strikes, with that run at third base, you cannot leave that pitch up to the umpire. I mean, it's got to really be a very bad call, an egregious call, for you to really be genuinely upset. I mean, I know in the moment he's upset, but when you go back in the dugout or locker room and you think about it, you get your head back to yourself and you say, you know what, that's on me. I have to offer at that pitch. That's too close to take in that situation.
1-2 to Ichiro. And that one breaks low. And it's 2-2. Wow. Look at that on Fox Tracks. It's front of the plate. And so it was at the knees before it descended. Ichiro, liner, center field, base hit. And Miami picks up that extra run. A 2-out single by Ichiro. 13 away from 3,000. Next up, Roberto Clemente, right at 3,000.
This is just Ichiro doing Ichiro. Look at that, staying on that, just lobbing it out there. Nice placement. Hands stay back. Then that bat stays in the zone such a long time.
'25th pitch of the inning for Norris. So the Marlins have accomplished a couple things. As you pointed out, they've answered back after Kohler really struggled in the first. And they've pushed Norris's pitch count over 50. Bouncer in the hole and into left field. Prado has a hit. And so the trend continues for Miami in this series, and that is they're out hitting the Tigers again. They did it last night by a good margin. And right now, Miami with 5 hits. Tigers have just the 4. And Rich Doobie, former Phillies pitching coach, now with the Tigers, arrives at the mound. If you want to bring your group to the ballpark, you can enjoy a personalized experience with some quality time for your guests at an affordable cost. Perfect for family outings, birthdays, and networking. Call the Marlins Group Sales Team today. Make your group's reservation 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/groups. There's your pitch by inning count. Right at 52. Yelich and Norris. Second go round. Yelich a line drive single to left in his first at bat, and a breaking ball misses out. Marlins bullpen in the bottom of the first had Dustin McGowan up and warming. Kohler finished that inning.
If there was anything that Tom Kohler needed, it was this inning right here from the Marlins offense. Give him that breather after that long, stressful first inning. Get him some time on the bench, collect his thoughts a little bit, slow things down mentally.
Well, and importantly, it gets some runs in the process. 2 of those here. And Yelich sitting on a 2-1 pitch. Good speed at second with Ichiro. And for Adrian Johnson, it's been a somewhat of a struggle.
Yeah, he's having a rough night. And the center here in center, the camera in center field is off center. It's not that true look.
Yelich swings and misses. Inning over, but Miami gets a couple back on 3 more hits. It's 4-2. Baseball, we were talking about stuff that happened late at night. This Cubs-Reds game went forever, 15 innings. And remember, Joe Maddon has a short bench, only 4 guys on the bench. So why not have your pitchers rotate in and out of left field? The Cubs last night actually had 3 different pitchers play left field. And it worked because the Cubs ended up getting a grand slam from Javi Baez in the 15th. And beating the Reds 7-2. How about that? Preston, in your days in the big leagues, I've seen it once with an outfielder rotated in and out like that. And you know what? Come to think of it, I think our Jeff Nelson was involved. I think it was Seattle in Boston. And I want to say it was Nelly that came in and pitched and then ended up in the outfield. There's some jawing going on right now between the Marlins dugout and Adrian Johnson. And there was a conversation for sure between Jeff Mathis and Johnson in between innings.
Well, you can expect that whenever the umpire has been inconsistent, you expect both teams to express their displeasure with it. Yeah, that's just part of the game. That's part of, just letting the umpire know, hey, we know some of these calls aren't right.
That's down the line. Ian Kinsler found that same spot last night for a double, and he doubles here to open up the second. Since we're touring baseball right now, T-Mobile brings you greater coverage of baseball, checking on some stuff last night. Not only was Clayton Kershaw sent home, but Zach Greinke came out with an oblique last night for the Diamondbacks. Lucas Giolito, much anticipated debut, stopped by rain 4 innings in, but pitched very well. And Carlos Santana just keeps the Indians rolling. An 11-game win streak. 3-run ninth. And the crack staff has confirmed that Jeff Nelson did play left field. So I was right, and it was at Fenway. Lou Piniella pulling the
I remember a long time ago, the Mets were playing the Braves, and it was one of these really long games. And I remember Jesse Orosco and Doug Sisk. One would play left field and then come in and pitch. Well, they would also switch depending on who was hitting to to where that guy would most likely hit the ball, of course, you'd put the pitcher in that opposite outfield spot. So if it was righty, that was a pull hitter, that pitcher would end up playing right field. And they went through batters, so if there was a left-handed batter come up, they'd bring Orozco in from the outfield, send Doug Sisk out back to the outfield. It was quite the scene.
Maben fouls it back. Cameron Maben singled in the first. This game is on a 6 or 7 hour pace right now. And it goes without saying the Marlins are traveling after the game, getting away to Atlanta. But both pitchers have battled it. Koehler a little more than Daniel Norris. Flipped back over the screen.
Well, this is where Koehler's got to go to that put-away breaking ball. He's got to snap one off right here, try to get himself a swing and a miss. He went with the fastball. Maben fouled it off. Kind of ran back into Maben a little bit, but I thought that was the perfect opportunity for him to throw that curveball there. Still got the same count, so I guess the situation's still the same.
You see his pitch count. Norris has thrown 57 pitches in his 2 innings.
Well, there's a curveball, but it's got to be closer than that. I mean, that ball's in the left-hander's batter's box. That's when you know your mechanics are a little funky. When you throw that ball in, it's not. I mean, he's going for a swing and a miss. He's trying to get a chase, but that ball's just so far outside. I can't imagine getting a swing on that. That's not close enough to even make the hitter think about swinging.
A strikeout, a walk, a hit batter, and 5 hits. All that with 10 batters. Johnson has it. Runs it down. Kinsler tags. Johnson's throw across. And Prado has to go out and pick it.
That is great heads-up base running by Ian Kinsler. On an at-bat where Cameron Maben got beat. He recognized that Chris Johnson not really used to playing first base that much, but more importantly, running with his back away from the play. He's got to catch this ball, stop his momentum, then fire off an accurate throw across his body to throw that ball to third base. And that's just smart base running by Ian Kinsler. Good job.
And that sets up for Cabrera. And Miami's infield back. Prado halfway at third.
You know, and there's no stat for that. There's no stat for what Ian Kinsler just did. There's no sabermetric that says how smart he was by recognizing all those components in that play to get to third base with less than 2 outs for his team.
There will be.
Well, no, I don't think they will, because I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can actually quantify all of those components, and if they can't quantify it, they won't make it up.
But if they've got a guy like you watching the game and saying, well, you know what, that is a great baseball play, score one for Kinsler.
Right, and it's like the RBI. The Marlins had 16 hits last night and lost. You don't think the RBI is important? But they don't think it's important because they can't quantify what makes a guy a good hitter in those situations.
Infield in, ball in the dirt, and no swing by Cabrera. It counts 1 and 2.
It's almost like if they can't explain it, it's not real. I don't know why I lose socks in my dryer, but it's real. I know that happens.
Look out. Cabrera's line drive. I don't know how it didn't get a piece of Koehler. That was right at Tom.
Wow.
And the Tigers have made it 5-2.
Yeah, this is get out of the way, and thank goodness it didn't hit me. Wow. Oof. Yeah. It actually got in on Miggy a little bit, but Miggy's just such a good hitter. He's trying to stay in the big part of the field. So many guys would roll over that ball because that ball's working in. They'd roll over it, hit that one hopper to the shortstop or third baseman. Miggy's just so good right there, understanding that driving in that run means playing in the middle of the field. And it's just a consistent thought process that he has, and it works. RBI situations, just take what they give you.
Victor Martinez. Well, you know it's a bright sun field when the home team's got guys coming to the plate with glasses on.
Yeah. A really bright day. Sometimes you get a little glare. Usually a lot of white T-shirts at day games.
Count 0-2. Braves play a night game tonight. Marlins and Braves tomorrow night. Wei-Yin Chen scheduled to get the ball for Miami. Marlins have yet to decide on a Friday starter. At a strike 3 call. Kohler gets a strikeout of Victor Martinez.
Good quick out, 3 pitches. He needed that. He needed a quick out. He needs to get a few more quick outs with 64 pitches, having yet to close out the second inning. I mean, this is a pace where, unless things go really well, it's hard to see him making it to 5.
Remember, McGowan was up and warming up in the first. Not throwing right now. Although on a day like this, especially if you've loosened up 20 minutes ago, it doesn't take long to get ready to go. Kohler and Castellanos, he walked him back in the first. Castellanos taking a big step forward this year. Last year he hit 15 homers. And he's popped 14 already to go with 16 doubles. That one just wide of the line. 1-2. Great crowd on a sunny afternoon in Detroit. And that's by the diving Prado and into left field for a hit. 4th hit already for Castellanos in this brief 2-game series. And the 3rd hit of the inning. Juan Nieves. They might want to design for both pitching coaches today. They've got a path from home plate to the mound. They might want to put one in from each dugout.
It's funny, Rich, I was just thinking the same thing.
It's a good day for hitters. Here's Upton.
That would be the ultimate sign that your team has a bad pitching staff, when the grounds crew just carves out a path from the dugout to the pitcher's mound.
That would be your ex-grounds crew in a day or two. You see it?
But that's like a parting shot from a ground screw guy. The day when he retires, he just does that.
Breaking ball misses out. You can see the path that's cut between the plate and the mound. Arizona also has that. My guess is that's a throwback to a ballpark of many years ago. Let's give our crack staff something to do. See if they can find where that originated. A strike. And it's 1-2.
Right off the edge. May have grazed the corner.
Liner to right. Stanton is there and he makes the catch. Tigers get another on 3 hits and leave a pair. 5-2 Detroit. After 2 innings, 5-2, Tigers on top. Both pitchers' pitch counts are rather high. Tom Koehler's higher than Daniel Norris's. Marcell Ozuna, Giancarlo Stanton, Chris Johnson scheduled to appear here in the 3rd.
All right, Meow Rich. The Tigers, the Marlins have to definitely do a good job of making sure they keep Daniel Norris in the strike zone. He's been around the strike zone a lot. They have to get back to what they did in that 2nd inning, taking those wild pitches and really attacking him in the strike zone, because he's there to be hit. When he misses, he's wild in the strike zone. He's not making a whole lot of great pitches. Just got to make sure you take advantage of him.
5 strikeouts, 5 hits. And a strike to Ozuna.
Well, remember, Ozuna struck out looking his first time, took a ball that was right there on a 3-2 pitch. See what Norris does here.
Ball in the dirt. It's 3-2.
Mixon moves his feet and a little hop, skip, and around the back.
Very polite, though. You don't want to walk across the catcher, walk across the plate. Just tiptoe around.
Pardon me. Excuse me. Pardon me.
3-2 count. Boy, it looked like a diving changeup. It just shot, or was it a two-seamer?
Yeah, just a ball that started out there and just never came over the plate. And I think, you know, Ozuna realized he took a pitch he shouldn't have last time, and there chased a pitch that he definitely shouldn't have.
Here's Giancarlo. Well, a big sequence for Norris was in the first. Miami had a couple of hits with one out, and he struck out Ozuna looking and Stanton looking.
Norris is doing a good job. If you look at that sequence, the first pitch there, 88 miles an hour, right there to be hit. Stanton took it. Now he throws another fastball, but this fastball is 94. So it gives you that little extra oomph and you can't catch up to it. Get you in a 0-2 hole really quickly when you take that get me over fastball, so to speak.
Two and two. It's amazing the number of pitches that the starting pitchers have thrown in this ball game. Koehler's thrown 72 in 2 innings.
Well, you know, those bullpen guys are down there going, okay, we know we're up. We just got to matter who and for how long.
Stan hits a high fly ball to right. Moya is over. And he makes the catch. So there's 2 outs. And here comes Chris Johnson. And as you can see, Norris isn't far behind. Norris just 2 pitches behind Koehler. Braves have yet to announce their starter. Julio Teheran is going to go on Friday. And so Wei-Yin Chen against a question mark. The Marlins have a question mark on Friday against Teheran. Johnson lines one into left. That's a hit. Picked up there by Upton. And Upton plays as deep a left field in a big ballpark as you'll see.
Yeah, that's a very, you know, you're down by 3 runs, so you don't want to make that out at second base. Very conservative play by Chris Johnson. I actually thought he had a double right there. I thought with Upton moving towards the line as deep as he was, Johnson had already rounded the back. I thought he could have made it, but I got no problem with him holding up right there and making sure, playing it safe.
I just looked up, and it looked like he was playing no doubles defense. Especially now with Dietrich, a lefty up right now. Dietrich shoots that foul. Walked and scored in the second. Miami getting both their runs in the second. And the breaking ball misses out. It's 1-2.
Yeah, unusual stance out there in the outfield for Upton. He's playing left field, and most of his back is kind of towards Cameron Maybin. He's got that left leg forward playing on the angle there. You know, Usually you see guys open up towards the gap. He's open towards a line.
Struck him out. Dietrich didn't like it. But the Marlins leave another. Oh, my goodness.
Wow, this is a tough day behind the plate for Adrian Johnson. He's got to clean that up.
This has been a rough ride on both sides. Here in Detroit. Tom Koehler back out. Bottom of the third. And for 2 innings, the Tigers have had a lot of base runners. They've scored 5 times. Pitch number 73 opens up this 3rd inning, bounces in the dirt. Steven Moya, Jared Saltalamacchia, Jose Iglesias for the Tigers. Of course, the Tigers somewhat of a makeover, especially in their rotation from last year. Traded David Price in July. That's how they got Norris. He was one of the pieces that came over. And what used to be a dominant rotation has undergone a transformation. You think about Price, Max Scherzer, Doug Fister, Rick Porcello. They did add Jordan Zimmerman. To right, Stanton in that little alcove makes the catch. Or would that be a cul-de-sac?
I guess technically it could be either one, really. You know, because there's no way out of there. So,
well, there's, yeah, you're right. There is none.
Yeah, you got to come out the same way you went in.
Here comes Saltalamacchia. I think if you look at this Tiger ball club, there's so much baseball to be played, and the Indians are world beaters right now. I mean, won 11 straight. Detroit 7.5 back of Cleveland, but 1 over, and certainly a hot streak away from putting themselves right in that wild card seat. They're going to have to learn how to beat the Indians, though. The Indians are to the Tigers somewhat as the Braves have been to the Marlins this year. Detroit is 0-9 against Cleveland. And that makes Miami's struggles against Atlanta even more mysterious because Cleveland's a first place team. Saltalamacchia lines one into center field. That's a hit. Sacrifice fly and a single. for the former Marlin. Marlins are offering a digital flex pack of digital tickets for just $199. You get 20 tickets, and you get to pick your games. And so if you use the MLB Ballpark app, you're also able to share your tickets. And if you're trying to track Ichiro and 3,000 hits, this is a great way to do it, because if he gets close and you want to come and watch a series of games, you're in. This is Iglesias. Marlins have shown recently they've been able to beat teams that have the sub 500 record. Won that series in San Diego. They took 3 of 4 from the Rockies. Even though Detroit came in with a 500 record, this is a good ball club. I'm somewhat surprised that they sit, and I'm sure a lot of Tiger fans are as well. I'm surprised that they're just a game over right now. But that rotation we talked about, the arms that they've lost over the last couple of years, that rotation is not what it used to be here. Justin Verlander looks human. Jordan Zimmerman has an ERA of just under 4. The best has been young Michael Fulmer.
Yes.
He's got a 2.40 ERA. Bouncer slowly hit. Prado in time to get Iglesias. And there's 2 outs. Here comes Kinsler. It's funny that the emphasis in the offseason, along with the adding Zimmerman, was develop that bullpen, retool the bullpen. Justin Wilson, Mark Lowe, Francisco Rodriguez, all arms that came in the offseason. Single and double for Kinsler. What'd you call him from the outset of the telecast? A hitting machine, or
instant offense?
Instant offense. Out of Tucson. And of course, 8 seasons in Texas, a 4-time All-Star. This is his 3rd year with the Tigers.
Kinsler's kind of like the baseball version of Benny the Microwave Johnson. He used to play for the Pistons here, basketball player. He heats up in a hurry, he can get you on the board quickly.
Oh, look at you stretching up to the Palace of Auburn Hills.
You know,
back in Piston lore.
I'm learning to weave this thing together here, Rich. You know, you've taught me a lot in a few years here. You know?
Or you have a Bill Laimbeer comp out there you want to try for? Maybe James Edwards. That one fouled back.
It's one of the great sports nicknames, the Microwave.
Yes.
And the reason why it was good, because he was like, he'd heat up, come off the bench, and he's shooting, he's going to heat up in a hurry.
To right. And Stanton has it. And Tom Koehler works a scoreless 3rd. 5-2 Tigers. accordingly, which is an indication that his day is done. And so for the Marlins starter, that first inning, and the volume of pitches just too much to overcome. And McGowan, for the second time, is up in Miami's pen. Meanwhile, the Marlins trying to put some more damage on the line of Daniel Norris. Danny Echeverria, Jeff Mathis, and then Ichiro. At the knees, a ball and a strike.
92 miles an hour. Good spot for that pitch.
Echeverria tripled past Maben in left center. The Detroit skyline was beautiful last night. Sunset, the whole row of skyscrapers and large buildings were just all lit up in a orange gold. Echeverria is rung up. He's on his way back to the dugout. And that was a strike.
The Marlins have 8 strikeouts overall, 7 or 8. 5 have been looking. That's something that that's got to be something that Barry Bonds is 8 strikeouts, 5 looking. Barry's got to be, you know, just saying, look, guys, right now we're letting opportunities go by. At least swing the bat. It's one thing to chase a ball out of the zone. It's a whole nother thing to just take strike 3, take strike 3.
Chopper from Mathis, and that's a base hit. So an infield single for Mathis, and that brings up Ichiro. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Ichiro, an RBI single in the second, struck out in the first. 13 hits shy of 3,000. I was talking to a representative of NHK. These games nationally televised in Japan, and she told me today that when he gets closer to 3,000, the press coverage and the number of people following him are going to absolutely explode. Obviously, it's a great story in Japan right now. One and two.
I mean, 3,000 hits pretty much ensures your place in Cooperstown.
Ichiro rolls that one out to second, and there's an out at second. Ichiro safe at first. You know, the funny thing is, Preston, I can remember, 4 or 5 years ago, the talk of, well, Ichiro's going to Cooperstown, but he might not get to 3,000 hits because he'd burned so brightly. He didn't get to start his major league career until he was 27. And he opened with, of course, the MVP award, but then he was an All-Star 10 straight times, Gold Glove 10 straight times. And since he started so late, many thought, you know what, even if he doesn't get to 3,000, he's in the Hall of Fame. And it wasn't, some people say, well, you know what, look, he, especially in the Rose Ichiro discussion, the fact that he didn't play here to begin with, there's a roller out second. But remember, he didn't have a choice. he couldn't leave Japan. He had to play 9 years before he was allowed to play here. 5-2, Tigers.
Ballparks in the entire country that have a carousel, and Comerica Park is one of them. This is the Comerica Carousel. There are 30 hand-painted tigers on this carousel. It's only $2 to take a ride. So if you ever come to a game here in Detroit, you have to come and check this out. The best part about it, guys, there are about 10 people on the carousel right now. Only one of them is a child. The rest are adults.
And there's a look. Thank you, Jessica. There's a look from above.
Is Jess still out there on that thing?
Yeah. I think there's actually more than one child on the carousel right now.
Yeah, I think you might have shorted that by one.
Cameron Maybin getting set to face Dustin McGowan. 3 innings from Tom Koehler. Koehler threw 90 pitches. Now Norris has thrown 88. Maybe to right, Stanton towards the corner, and it lands foul. Just foul. The All-Star Game in San Diego on the 12th. It's a Tuesday night. The biggest stars come together. Primetime event that will light up the summer. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game, only on Fox. Maybin takes out. It's not been a good 24 hours for some All-Stars in terms of injuries. We saw Clayton Kershaw on that promo. He's back to have his back examined. Maybin strikes out. Royals All-Star center fielder Lorenzo Cain was put on the 15-day DL with a strained hamstring. Told you Zach Greinke's got an oblique issue. Here's Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera fouls it off. We talked earlier about the Cubs and how hot they are in that odd game last night with 3 pitchers playing left, 15 innings, and how today's game started with a home run, a 3-run homer by Anthony Rizzo. Apparently the ball hit Billy Hamilton in the face while he was trying to make a catch. And Rizzo was able to circle the bases and have an inside the park home run. Hamilton did leave the field by his own power. Cabrera fouls it. Sounds like the ball actually ricocheted off of Adam Duvall's glove, who was converging on the play, and then hit Hamilton in the face.
It was one of those deep fly balls right in the middle between the left fielder and the center fielder. Duvall reached out for it and it glanced off his glove, and in flight struck Billy Hamilton in the face, and he just went down and stayed down for a while.
Speaking of outfield play, the catch of the night last night was Melvin Upton.
He's playing a Gold Glove caliber left field for San Diego. And he's been really good out there. You know, he could be a center fielder for another team if he keeps swinging the bat the way he does. Or I should say has been lately.
Cabrera, left center field. Man, that's deep. And gone.
Well, this was an absolute no-doubter. Miggy crushes this ball, and you know that it's a home run off the bat when the pitcher has received the ball, the next ball from the umpire before the ball that was hit lands in the stands. And that happened just now. Look at McGowan. He knows right now. He's like, all right, just give me another one. Obviously, we're not getting that one back. Just such a compact swing. Produces so much power. And you can see McGowan standing there.
You're right. You can see McGowan about to receive the ball.
Yeah.
And it hadn't landed, and Miggy was 10 feet from home plate.
Yeah, that's
6-2. Tigers on top. And Victor Martinez goes around. That one skips off the mound and into center field. Second hit for Martinez. He had 2 hits last night. And whatever it is, this Tigers lineup is thick with hitters. But they lit Miami up to start the season in Miami, and they're doing the same here in these 2 games. Geico presents this Major League moment. 2004, Randy Johnson gets career strikeout 4,000, striking out Jeff Cirillo. That back in 2004. Castellanos has walked and singled. Cubs are well on their way to winning that game in Cincinnati. That's 8-2 in the 7th. Ramon De Jesus calls that a swinging strike from first base. The building in straightaway center, the Detroit Athletic Club. And the place to go, Press, apparently, is at the very top of it.
Okay.
See beyond the Chevrolet sign, that big tan building?
Yeah.
There's a club up there.
Okay. I see the lights up there now. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It is.
You know, I noticed some fans, or I should say people, standing on the railing out there last night. I didn't realize there was a club up there.
That would be a great place to call a game.
Yes.
Castellanos swings and misses, and that'll bring Upton up. Justin Upton, an RBI single, and he's lined out. I would think pace of game is really a grind for the fielders right now.
Yes. This is when you really have to dig deep and make sure that you're focusing every pitch, not checking out at all mentally. You know, with the long innings, a lot of pitches being thrown.
And that's both sides, not just the Marlins. McGowan steps off. Justin Upton cashed in 6 years, $135 million. Though he does have an opt-out next year. Out to second. Dietrich flips. Echeverria is there. A Miguel Cabrera homer, and it's now 6-2. Is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By Checkers Fast Foodies, know the deal. By Lexus of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. got the Ferris wheel, the carousel. Probably the next stop for Jessica Blaylock, who's probably still on the carousel right now with the hand-painted tigers.
Let's go, Jess. Get back to work. Back in here.
Here is Yelich. Liner to center, and that's a base hit. It's a nice article on the Marlins headed to Fort Bragg. Joe Frisaro put it on MLB.com, and Christian Yelich talking about the significance. He's got a 24-year-old brother, Cameron, who's in the Marines. A lot of guys for both the Braves and the Marlins looking forward to Sunday at Fort Bragg. Yelich with his second hit. Ozuna has punched out twice in what is a real odd game here in Detroit. Heavy pitch count for both starters. So much so that Tom Koehler lasted just 3 innings. And here's Daniel Norris pitching in the 5th. And he's approaching 100. Kinsler snares the liner. And Ozuna is out number 1.
Ball got in a little bit at Ozuna. Kinsler pulls it in. It just doesn't look like Ozuna's picking up the ball that well today. It doesn't look like he's quite seeing it. Maybe today would be a good day for sunglasses for him. Help take that glare off, but it didn't seem to be picking up the ball as well today as we had seen him do lately. Change up there on Stanton, got him out front.
Stanton's had the glasses on for his at-bats. High pop. Maben finds it. And there's 2 outs. Chris Johnson, the hitter.
Haven't seen Norris throw too many changeups. Started him off with one there. But really, when you, I mean, changeup you almost eliminated right now from Norris. Hasn't been a big factor for him. You hit that fastball, you're going to do better against him. His breaking ball's been inconsistent. Hasn't really been throwing a lot of strikes with his breaking ball. Just hit the fastball off of this guy.
Johnson lined a single to left. Brave starter tomorrow night.
Oh,
to be determined. Marlins have Wei-Yin Chen tomorrow night. Marlins starter on Friday to be determined. Braves have Julio Teheran. Two and 0. One candidate would be Justin Nicolino. After 2 nice bounce back starts in New Orleans.
Good job there. Numbers are good. Keeping the walks down.
And he's right on turn, so it would be easy to slide him back in on Friday. And unless something drastic happens, it'll be Tom Koehler who starts in Fort Bragg. Excuse me. It would be, that's right, because that's game 4 of that series. It would be Adam Conley in Fort Bragg.
Right.
Tom Koehler would go on the 4th of July in New York. Johnson with a fly ball to right. It sends Moya back. And he makes the catch. Well, Daniel Norris over 100 pitches, but still up 6-2. Is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. In Detroit, Motor City. Very pleasant walk from the Westin in downtown Detroit to the ballpark this morning. Stopped off and found a terrific donut shop. Fastball misses down low. You could see in strolling up, I believe it was Woodward Avenue. A lot of shops going up. A lot of cool stores, lofts and apartments and townhomes going in downtown Detroit. Let's hope that that continues. A lot of construction, a lot of the older buildings being converted.
Wow. Remember the old jukeboxes, the Wurlitzer jukeboxes?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Since 2012, $3.5 billion has been poured into the city. Now, with the hockey arena coming down here, there is also a sort of a village shopping center, restaurants, all of that. Because you've got the hockey arena that's going in next to Comerica. You've got Ford Field that's right over there. So the Red Wings will be right downtown. See that big white building beyond left? That's Ford Field. Moya drills it right field and deep and gone. This young man is hot right now. A 24-year-old with his 4th homer. And he blasts this one to right.
Wow, just drops the head on that thing. Watch that. Look at that back foot come up off the ground, kind of. Wow. Good extension.
Saltalamacchia. 7-2 Tigers. So 2 homers for the Tigers today, including another from Miguel Cabrera. They had 3 in the 5th inning in yesterday's win, the 7-5 win. If you've just locked into this ballgame, Tom Koehler lasted just 3 innings. He threw 90 pitches, gave up 5 runs on 8 hits. And Dustin McGowan into his 2nd inning. McGowan has given up both the home runs. Saltalamacchia to right field. Stanton races over, and that's gone. And Detroit piles on with another homer, another run.
Saltalamacchia is having quite a day against his old teammates. Sac fly 1st inning, his first at bat, and then he comes up with a base hit up the middle. And now, home run off of McGowan. Fastball, middle in, and he turns on it. Inside corner, drills it into the right field. Seats right there.
Iglesias swings and misses. So back-to-back homers. 3 homers last night, 3 homers today. Yeah, that hurts. Ball and a strike. Boy, nice play. Grabbed his chair in one hand. Moved the chair, held on to that, made the catch.
I believe he said something to Yelich like, hey, hold my spot for me, dog, after he made that play.
You sure he used dog?
Yeah, that's probably what he said.
Right.
He seems like the type.
That one fouled at the plate. So the Tigers have popped 6 home runs. David Schoenfeld on ESPN.com has an interesting column about home runs this year and how the long ball is up. And I love the headline, "Ball go far." Tom Verducci in Sports Illustrated had one a few weeks ago as well. Popped up. It's a difficult play, and Mathis making a basket catch with a catcher's glove is not a easy thing, and he did it. Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballots June 30th. You're running out of time, kids. Go to Marlins.com. You can vote up to 35 times. Go to your computer, your tablet, your smartphone, your watch, whatever it takes. 2016 All-Star Game. Go to Marlins.com/vote. Kinsler now. He's had a productive day. Single, double, and a line drive out. McGowan with the 1-2. Marlins end this road trip in New York against the Mets. Afternoon game, a 4 o'clock start on Monday on the 4th of July. Fireworks, I'm sure, plenty of them in and around the city. Night game on Tuesday, day game Wednesday. Of course, no television on Wednesday. Then the Marlins head home where they have the Reds for a weekend series. Then the All-Star break hits. McGowan with a fastball, and Kinsler chases. Mathis headed towards the dugout. He thought that we're that we were headed to the 6th inning.
That's when it's an off day, when your catcher, usually that's the last guy to forget how many outs they are, the catcher.
Come back, Jeff.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. Catchers do it, outfielders do it, pitchers do it, broadcasters do it, fans do it, umpires do it. The crack staff occasionally does it. Producers do it. Rarely, but they do. And there's Wickren in Miami's pen. Maven rolls it out to short. Echeverria is out there. 2 more home runs back-to-back. Stephen Moya, Jared Saltalamacchia, 8-2 Tigers.
Ever. This is the foul ball Ferris wheel. It's been a staple of Comerica Park since it opened. There are 12 different cars. They go around in a circle 5 times. So when you come to a ball game here in Detroit, not only do you get to take in a game, but you also get kind of a fair-like atmosphere. And guys, if you need me to call the game for a few innings so that you can come and ride the Ferris wheel, just let me know.
What do you think, Press?
It's pretty impressive. Jessica's got a pretty good assignment today. Look at her.
That's only the 8th time she's been on the ride today, folks.
Just may not actually see the inside of the ballpark.
And maybe that's why she said it's one of the best days ever, not knowing that the Marlins are down 8-2. Derek Dietrich, Danny Echeverria, and Jeff Mathis.
Clear skies in Detroit. Look at that. Beautiful.
This is. I like this ballpark. And I know there's Dietrich lining into right field for a hit. Such great history here too for all the sports teams. Hockey Town with the Red Wings. You dropped the microwave on us for the Pistons. Now the Lions, not so much. But Alex Karras was great in Blazing Saddles. Mongo just pawn in Game of Life. Alex Wilson, just reliever out of Detroit's bullpen. Echeverria at RBI triple. Miami's got 9 hits, but only 2 runs. And a foul tip. Preston, who's your favorite Detroit athlete?
Barry Sanders. That's a no question right there.
How could the Lions not win with Barry Sanders?
Because they had quarterbacks that couldn't throw the ball 20 yards down the field. So it was all Barry Sanders. It's amazing he got hit. I mean, he juked the whole team at times.
Echeverria pulls it foul.
I mean, they had some good ones. Offensive line was pretty shoddy.
That sounded pretty cheesy, though, asking you that question. It's almost like, Preston, how much do you think I can bench press? Who's your favorite Detroit athlete, Preston? That's strike. Ramon De Jesus rings up with Danny Echeverria. I may go Kirk Gibson on you.
Okay.
Because not only was he a great Tiger, but he was also an outstanding wide receiver at Michigan State.
All right.
Or maybe Chris Chelios.
Chris Chelios, great hockey player.
He's got a restaurant right down on the corner. We walked by it last night. What is it, Chelly's Chili?
The great Stevie Y.
Very good.
Yeah.
Did you have?
I brush up a little bit, Rich. You know, I try to stay, you know, a little bit in everything.
I'll go Chris Osgood on you.
Oh, wow.
He was the goalie on one of the teams that I used to call hockey for long ago. Counts 1-2. Some Detroit legends there.
Well, we do have Joe Louis Arena right next door there.
2-2. And Mathis strikes out. And here comes Ichiro. So Alex Wilson, a single to Derek Dietrich, and then 2 punch-outs. Alex Wilson, one of the holdovers from last year's bullpen. Ichiro takes 92-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. A 1-for-3 ball game for Ichiro. He had 2 hits last night, so he's knocked 3 hits off that list. 13 shy of 3,000. Craig Minervini by text is throwing Gordie Howe in there.
A great long time, the great longevity in hockey.
Certainly Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell can go in as a combo.
I like Chet Lemon. I like that name. Remember that? Chet Lemon.
Chet Lemon. How about Mickey Tettleton?
Nice. Nice. Isaiah Thomas.
Ichiro to left. Upton is there, and he makes the catch. We'll continue our tour of the Detroit sports scene. 8-2 Tigers. Lechonera. Bell Island. Our tour of the greater Detroit area continues. Very cool all things Detroit store downtown Preston. Walked by it today. I think there might be a few Ben Wallace posters in there.
Sure, they probably are. Had some good years here.
Miguel Cabrera. Actually, yeah, to be honest with you, there was a huge Miguel Cabrera poster right in the window.
Yeah.
Because he is all things Detroit right now. Big 3-run homer last night. Solo shot today, RBI single, and was hit by a pitch. Miggy, who is signed through 2023. Echeverria left his feet and then landed on his side after making that catch.
Well, he just got up there and hung for a minute, didn't he?
Levitated.
That's levitation, Holmes. Look, elevation and levitation. Watch that. Oh. Miggy just hits the ball hard, man. Great play.
Here's Victor Martinez. By the way, a note on Cabrera's homer. It's his 426th career homer. It tied him with Billy Williams for 48th overall. Wickren misses down low. Four hits for Martinez in the series. Two of them today. Drove in two with a single in the first. That one's going to reach the seats. Few of the afternoon games out on the West Coast are just about to start. Astros in LA to take on the Angels. All right, Orange County, how's that? Baltimore is in San Diego. Philadelphia is in Arizona. Ball in the dirt. Houston is really playing well. They've won 9 of 10. They beat the Angels last night 7-1. They'll try to beat the Angels again here this afternoon. Martinez swings and misses. So 2 down here in the 6th. Season ticket deposits. If you place that deposit for a 2017 season ticket, it guarantees you access for the All-Star Game in Miami in 2017. If you get it in before July 8th, you're invited to a home run derby at Marlins Park where you can swing for your seats. You get your season tickets for free. 1-877-MARLINS. You can RSVP today. That's a good call, Preston. If a fan out there decides they want to get season tickets or be involved in that event and swing for their seats, can they pinch hit with you?
Be like a Game of Thrones, like a, you get the trial by battle and you get to pick your warrior. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Like a trial by combat is what they called it on, or call it on Game of Thrones.
I wonder what it is. Do you have to just hit a home run and you get free seats, or what? We need to get some more details on it. In this day and age, it might be the participant with the best OPS.
With the best WAR, wins above replacement. It'll get you a season ticket.
Castellanos, who was walked, singled, and struck out. That Central Division in the American League. Indians are rolling. We talked about the Tribe. Marlins will see them in early September. Marlins headed to Cleveland. Kansas City's coming to Miami. Royals are in second place. White Sox are in as well. Two balls, two strikes. There is Jojo Reyes, who was called up to plug a gap in Miami's bullpen while the Fish tried to figure out what to do about Friday night's start in Atlanta. Meanwhile, in the East of the American League, Baltimore continues to stay hot. They've won 6 straight. And they are in San Diego. Although last night in San Diego, the play of the night, that Melvin Upton catch.
I still find myself calling him BJ. Knew him as BJ for so long. His real name is Melvin Upton Jr. The name BJ actually comes from a nickname from his dad. It stood for Boss Man Jr.
Yes.
So they gave him that nickname. Dad's name was Boss Man. That's got to be a pretty cool thing. His dad's name Boss Man.
Yeah. Well, you want to listen to Dad to begin with, but when Dad's named Boss Man, you really want to listen to him.
Yeah.
We'll see Boss Man Jr. when we get back.
So it would make sense that there are a ton of tigers around Comerica Park. There are 7 large ones, including this one right behind me. There are 31 miniature ones that surround the ballpark. There are 2 big ones by the scoreboard, and then there are 6 more tigers in the outfield. So when you come to a game here in Detroit at Comerica Park, if you tell someone to meet you by the tiger, make sure you specify which one.
That is good advice. There are lots of tigers. In fact, I thought, you're just looking at the mascot down on the field, one of the mascots, I thought Tony the Tiger was here today, which would have been a real treat. Alas, it was not Tony the Tiger. He lives, I'm sure, in Battle Creek, Michigan, right? Martin Prado's up. Christian Yelich and Marcelo Zuna will follow. Battle Creek, Michigan, to me as a child was always a mythical place, right? Home of Kellogg's.
Yes.
And that's where I always thought that the Detroit Tigers were named after Tony the Tiger. See, I think just Pause is the name of the Tigers mascot. Prado into center field. That's a base hit. AT&T high-speed replay. We're talking about the catch last night in San Diego, and here it is. Preston, all yours.
Melvin Upton Jr. here in center field gets the ball, finds it, see that arm gauging where the wall is, knows exactly where he is in space, reaches up, grabs it, and gets up and unleashes that great arm that he has to double up Trumbo at first base, that is some serious outfield play. Woo!
Wasn't that worth waiting for, kids? Yelich up now. And Christian takes a strike.
And the key to that play was you saw that his throwing arm, when he went back to defense, he had it bent so he could absorb the wall if it happened to hit the wall. Found his there, knew where he was in space in relationship to the wall. That way he jumped up, cleared the wall easily, grabbed it, brought that ball back. Great play.
As I've learned from you, Preston Wilson, former outfielder, the bent arm is better because the straight arm is jarring.
Right, yes. If you have that arm bent, it acts kind of like a shock absorber, and it bends along with you when you hit the wall. If your arm's out stiff, it jars you, your head's going to move, takes you out of the play. Let's see this thing in action again. See that arm offhand? So he knows where it is, reaches all the way over.
Wow.
Yes.
It's nice to see him enjoying the game. We saw him when the Marlins were in San Diego. He looked energized, having fun. One-two pitch to Yelich.
Well, he's found a way to, at the plate, become a little less violent. Before, he had that really violent motion with his leg kick, and I think his head was moving a lot. He smoothed that out now. His head staying still through his swing, and he's starting to get that extension through the ball again that we saw back when he was B.J. Upton, back when he was with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays or Tampa Bay Rays.
It's a good sharp breaking ball that gets Yelich. Toyota with an inside look. Not an inside pitch. Interleague batting average. Baltimore's only played 3 interleague games. Wow. The Marlins at 324 in interleague play. Here's Marcell Ozuna. And Ozuna lines one to right field. So that's a hit. A one-out single. Brings up Giancarlo Stanton. We said it last night and we said it earlier today. Base runners and hits have not been an issue for Miami in this series. Keeping the Tigers in the ballpark has been the biggest issue. Marlins now have 11 hits and just 2 runs. Last night, 16 hits and just 5 runs. They have had, this according to the crack staff, a base runner in every inning of this series. And yet they're in danger of losing both games. Stanton has Miami's only home run in these 2 games. There he is. That's pause. That's, I mean, first glance I thought Tony the Tiger was here. What do you think of pause, Preston? Stanton a bouncer. Castellanos there. It was dropped on the transfer. And the out is called at second. Kinsler, it looked like the ball in his glove, and we went to take it out to throw it, popped out. Here's a better look. Yeah.
You usually see that happen when that throw ends up on the glove side shoulder or glove side of that middle infielder, because he's got to bring it all the way across his body quickly. Usually if the lead throw is on the back shoulder, it doesn't come out that often, but that's when you usually see that pop out.
Not an Olympic event. And the bat retrieved. Johnson into right field. That's a hit. Prado comes across. Stanton stops at second. And Miami picks up a run with 2 outs here in the 7th. And it gets an at bat for Derek Dietrich.
Ball up in the zone, out over the plate. Johnson does a good job of staying with it, driving it over there, picking up an RBI.
Brad Ausmus arrives. Alex Wilson departs. Wes Kendall Toyota called to the pen. They've changed pitchers. This is Kyle Ryan, a native of Auburndale, Florida. '11th round pick back in 2010. 24-year-old. Dietrich gets the lefty in this at bat. Second to work in support of Daniel Norris, who went 5.
Well, this is a crossfire lefty. He really throws across his body. When he steps, he almost steps right at Dietrich, and then that arm comes around the corner. So it might be a little bit tougher for Dietrich to pick up.
Ryan has missed on his first 2. Dietrich singled, struck out, walked. He's got a 3-for-6 series going with a couple of walks. 2-2.
It's just a tough look for that left-handed batter to have that pitcher pretty much step at you, almost behind you, and then get that ball. If you really pick up the ball late, the breaking ball's got to be extremely tough. Let's take a look at that motion, see what it looks like from the angle. See this? Then he steps way over towards there, and then the arm comes around the corner.
That's your crossfire hurricane.
Yes.
Runners on the move. The 3-2 coming. And an emergency swing. Dietrich stays alive.
This is one of those at-bats where, Dietrich, you really almost have to give up the inside part of the plate against this guy just in order to see the ball longer. You know, don't worry about trying to pull the ball. Take your single left field or whatever it's going to be. That way you stay on that breaking ball, because if you try to jump out there and hit that inside fastball against this guy, you're not going to have any chance on the breaking ball. So really, you almost look at middle of the way just to try to stay on it.
Dietrich goes down. And Miami is done in the 7th. They add a run on 3 more hits. It's 8-3. The 8-3 Tigers, brought to you by La Legionera, brought to you by Miggy. Another long homer for Miggy, 449 feet with that one. Steven Moya getting involved, his 4th of the season. And yes, Jared Saltalamacchia homers again against the Fish. Adding some salt. Well, I'm not even going there. 8-3. Tigers on top, bottom 7th inning stretch here in Motown. Good tunes, good crowd. They like to see their Tigers win baseball games, and they did it for a long stretch. 4 consecutive first place finishes until last year's 74-87 season. But a win here would put them 2 over. Keep them in pursuit of the Indians.
You know, being here, Rich, in Detroit, talking about Motown, one of the nicest moments I had was being able to take my parents for their anniversary one year to see Smokey Robinson. And it was an intimate setting. There couldn't have been maybe 4,000 people where it was in Miami. And it was an unbelievable thing just to see him, because he wrote so many of those Motown songs. He was Berry Gordy's writer, basically. And so many hits that he wrote. It was unbelievable.
Jojo Reyes in the ball game. We welcome him to the telecast.
And I made my parents get their own ride home. They rode there with me, but I told them they had to get their own ride home, because they were enjoying the music a little bit too much, being all mushy on their, you know, anniversary. I ain't nobody want to see that, Rich. So yeah, so I treated them to Smokey Robinson concert, then I made them get a ride home.
See, normally a play-by-play announcer would be inquisitive, but I don't know that I want to ask any more questions on this. Echeverria to his left, bobbles it, throws. Upton is out.
Wow.
By the narrowest of margins. Echeverria stuck with it. Wow. And of course, you know, the Marlins infield has gone 27 games without an error. That's a major league record. They're trying to stretch it to 28. And that's an out.
Wow. And there's always going to be some plays like that during a streak like that where you almost make an error, end up making a play, or there could be a bad throw and the first baseman digs it out for you and prevents it or even knocks it down.
I think there's, if we could throw that list up again, there's Perry Hill, the maestro of infield coaches.
Boom.
So 2000, I mean, you look at those streaks. The quality of playing surfaces and conditions of infields has to play into that, because look at the dates on all of that. And that goes back to 1913.
No question. And it's hard to be a good outfielder on a bad playing surface, or a good fielder period on a bad playing surface. And these grounds crew guys, they're so good making these infields smooth, the grass being cut to certain heights.
Well, the other thing too, gloves are better. I mean, much better
technology
than just 15, 20 years ago. Can you imagine what the jump is all the way back into the 30s and 40s?
Yeah. How about back when 20s? They didn't even use gloves?
Back when they used to leave the gloves on the field and the other guy would come out and use your glove. It was a shared glove. It was like a glove B&B.
Also, the machinery that they use to grade the fields now and smooth it out, you know, it's just it's such an intricate process to make these playing surfaces the way that they do.
To right, Stanton is there and makes the catch. Good to see on MLB Network today. Mike Lowell and Mike Morse on the panel, giving some love to Perry Hill and to Miami's defense, talking about shifting. The Marlins are not a team that shifts a lot, the extreme shifts, but they do a lot of what Perry Hill calls mini shifts.
It's really more positioning is what it is. It's understanding the matchup that you have between pitcher and batter and where the ball is more likely to go.
And you saw right there, which is kind of the routine for the infielders. They'll check in with Perry Hill. He has that spot that's taped up where he will be for every defensive half inning.
Right. And that he's got a little piece of tape and has got.
That's in the corner. Jared Saltalamacchia has come to life, and he's doing it at the Marlins' expense.
Came into this game hitting 170. That's his third hit on the day. He also has a sac fly to go with the single, double, and a home run. And he is just locked in right here. This ball is in the middle, and he cranks it down the left field line. So not only is he hitting, he's hitting from both sides of the plate. Home run was left-handed. This double's right-handed.
Iglesias now 0 for 3. Jojo Reyes misses down and in. It's 2-0. Reyes here to bolster the pen. The Marlins going with an 8-man bullpen in this series. That was after designating Paul Clemens, who was then claimed by San Diego. Reyes last year got into one game in the big leagues with the Angels. This is his 72nd major league appearance. To left, Yelich is there, and he makes the catch. Iglesias is out. 8-3 Tigres. Ball game about that Cubs game and how the Cubs used 3 different pitchers to play left field. And I brought up a game that I remember watching in Boston, Seattle, and the Red Sox, and Lou Piniella threw Jeff Nelson into left field. So if you need some outfielding tips, you can always lean over and ask Nelly on Marlins Live for that. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. You know what? We've had a great time in Detroit. We like the city. We love the ballpark. But you're right. For the Marlins, it's not been a good 24 hours. They were bombarded last night by 3 homers in the 5th inning. And the Tigers have blasted 3 here. Jeff Mathis up. Mathis to left. That's well hit. Upton back. Has room at the track. Makes a catch.
Frustrating day for Mathis. Couple bad calls on him at the plate. Just misses a homer right there.
Ichiro now 1 for 4. And the cross-firing lefty Kyle Ryan throws a strike. 0-2 quickly.
He just doesn't look like a comfortable at bat for a left-handed hitter.
Are there more cross-firing lefties than cross-firing right-handers?
No, not really. There's a lot of righties that throw across their bodies. It's funny because people just don't make a big deal about it when it's a right-handed pitcher going against a right-handed batter. It's just accepted for the righty to have to handle that burden.
Ichiro into center field. That's a base hit. Well, if the Marlins are looking for a bright spot in this ball game or in this trip to Detroit, it's the fact that Ichiro has 4 hits in Detroit and is now just a dozen hits away from 3,000, and Miguel Cabrera there to greet him as the goodwill ambassador.
Just gets it done, like just stays up the middle. And he's hitting the ball hard, Rich. You mentioned it last night. He's hitting the balls on the nose. These are hard hit line drives that Ichiro's laying out there.
Doesn't have a lot of bloop hits. Does have a few ground balls up the middle that he's beaten out, but not as, certainly not the amount or volume that he's had in his career. And the Marlins still, in every inning of these 2 games, have had a base runner. Prado takes a strike. He's got 3 hits. I mean, Preston, how do you account for all the hits and the lack of runs? Is it the fact that the Marlins don't steal bases, that they just haven't had a big hit, that they've not hit it out of the ballpark except for the Stanton homer?
I think part of it is you realize that the Marlins have decent team speed, but they don't steal bases. They don't put a lot of runners in motion, not a lot of hit and runs, because the Marlins do hit into quite a few double plays. And then with not hitting as many home runs, you end up having to play station-to-station baseball. So it takes 3 hits to score a run. So you can get 2 hits every inning and end up being shut out. Well, you got 18 hits, but you got no runs.
Prado shoots it into right center. Maben in, and it's going to land for another hit. Prado hit one almost in that same spot to open his day, and now he dumps another in there, and he's 4 for 5.
Yeah, that base hit is of the dying quill variety. Thing looked like a wounded animal, just as it couldn't get to the destination. Maburn's trying to get to it. He's got no chance.
Miami down 8-3. And now Yelich, who was 2 for 4. And quickly behind 0-2. So, I mean, once again, the Marlins are out hitting the Tigers. Now it's 14-13. 14 hits and just 3 runs. Last night, 16 hits, 5 runs.
Of that, and I think also the other component that I left off of that list, Rich, was you have to do a good job of hitting with men in scoring position. You know, you can rack up a lot of hits, but if they're not at the right time or the right situations.
Yelich strikes out. Yeah, the Marlins get 2 hits and leave them both. 8-3 Detroit.
Comerica Park, where the Tigers lead at 8-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Before today's game, about 30 to 40 people became United States citizens on the field. It was a beautiful moment for them, and a really cool moment too for Jose Fernandez, who just became a U.S. citizen in April of 2015. I had a chance to talk to him for a few minutes after that moment. He said, "I couldn't figure out why we were coming out of the clubhouse so soon, but I'm so glad that we did, because I wouldn't have wanted to have missed that. That was so cool." After the ceremony, he came out to the field. He gave all of the new citizens a big round of applause, and guys, an even bigger smile. What a cool moment today.
Yeah, it was. It really was, Jessica. That was about 15 minutes for first pitch.
You know, and it was one of those scenes that really takes you back, because so much rhetoric gets thrown around, and when you talk about, you know, immigrants in the country. Look at that. There is not a more diverse crowd of looking people that in that mix. You know what I mean? It's everyone. It's everyone. There could not have, it was young, old, men, women, dark skin, light skin. It was so diverse. You know, and that's what this country is.
And of course, so impactful on Jose, who escaped Cuba and became a citizen a couple of years ago.
I mean, look at that group.
We got a nice ovation from the crowd here.
And I will tell you this, that test that they study for, that's not a simple test to become a citizen. I guarantee if you put that citizenship test against your average American, they could not answer 40% of them.
That was a good moment, good way to start the day. And after that, things got sideways on the Marlins pretty quickly. Tom Koehler got knocked around in that first inning. And it's been a parade out of the bullpen since. Jojo Reyes for the Marlins right now. Walk to Kinsler, and now Maben is here. Anibal Sanchez in the Tigers' pen right now.
Whole Foods.
Marlin fans remember Jojo Reyes from a long run with the Atlanta Braves. Got to the big leagues with the Braves in 2007 and was a Brave through the 2010 year. And then a flurry of activity. Blue Jays, Orioles, Pirates organization, the Korean League, Phillies organization, but not the big leagues. Liner, and Maben's got extra bases. Into the corner it goes. Kinsler racing for third. Yelich up with the ball. Kinsler around third, and he will score. Cameron Maben with his second hit.
Hey, he's figuring it out at the plate, becoming more productive consistently. Drills that ball down in the corner. Kinsler does a great job. You know, he could have easily just kind of cruised in the third on that, but he ran hard the whole way, got an RBI for his teammate, scored another run for his team. And that's a veteran guy. That's not a rookie coming in there. That's not a 3 or 4 year vet. That's a guy who's been around the league for a long time, putting out that effort in a 6-run ball game. Was a 5-run game at the time.
Brad Ausmus.
Your teammates respect that. They appreciate that.
Maben's fourth double of the season. Maben's in a good place right now. When you're hitting in front of Miguel Cabrera, that's a good place. Cabrera pulls it foul.
Well, you're hitting in front of Cabrera and you're hitting behind Kinsler, and Maben isn't a power guy, so he is going to get those fastballs. The situation changes when you're a power guy and you hit second in front of that great hitter, because they're still going to pitch you the same. But a guy like Maben, he's going to get more fastballs.
Such a pure hitter. Cabrera shoots it in the right field. Maben around third. Stanton's throw is cut.
Oh, Miggy. You just keep doing it. Ball's up, out over the plate. That ball may have actually even been a ball off the plate. And he's just looking out there. Look at him drop the bat like it's hot. Maben's going to score on that. Look where that pitch is. A little off the plate. But that's what guys who drive in runs do. They take that situation. It may not be a strike, but they can do that job with that pitch.
Well, Victor Martinez, like all the Tigers, had a good 2 games so far. 2 hits today, 2 hits last night. Cabrera has driven in 6 runs in the 2 games. One and 2. And Chavarria snares the line drive. And the first out of the bottom of the 8th. Right now, Preston Wilson is on his phone looking for MLB.TV.
Got to check it out, man.
He wants to see Melvin Upton get it done out in center field again. Every out-of-market regular season game on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply, but not to Preston. Visit MLB.TV for details. Miggy's going to come out of the ballgame. Andrew Romine will run. Castellanos. Andrew will be thrilled to know that he is the lucky recipient of a quart of Brightener and some 2-week supply of Pool Acid. as well as a new basket for the skimmer.
I think they throw in a complimentary sunscreen travel pack as well.
Testing kit too. Pinch a penny. Dietrich makes the catch. So the outs for Jojo Reyes in the inning are line drive outs. Here comes Justin Upton.
Speaking of that two-hole, not necessarily meaning you get fastballs, that happened to Justin Upton. He was hitting in front of Cabrera early in the year, and he was thinking, hey, you know, I'm hitting in front of Cabrera, I'm going to get all these fastballs. Well, no, you're still Justin Upton. So he was seeing a lot of breaking balls, swinging himself out of at bats.
Echeverria, nifty play, nicely done. The Tigers add on 2 more runs on a 10-3 day in Detroit. West transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Dodge, visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Well, the Marlins have not been to Detroit since 2004, and now we know why. The Tigers have come out and hammered the Fish with a 10-3 lead. Andrew Romine is at first base. And Anibal Sanchez will get an inning here. Since moving to the bullpen, things have turned for Anibal Sanchez. A 1.86 ERA, a 1-1 record. Marcell Ozuna rifles one to left, and it's caught there by Justin Upton. And here comes Giancarlo Stanton, teammate of Sanchez back in his Marlin days. Sanchez not had a good year overall. 3-7, a 6.71. 12 starts this season. Stanton goes after the first pitch. He pops it up. And Iglesias makes the catch.
Is that 2 pitches, 2 outs in a 7-run ball game right there, Rich, in the 9th inning?
It is. And here's Johnson, who is 2 for 4. Well, we've had a great time in Detroit. I wish we were here more often than every 12 years. Hopefully the schedule will be kind and we'll be back here soon.
Yeah, I've been here since 2006. Actually, the last time I was here was playing in a World Series game.
Well, now wait a minute. That's a pretty good memory too, right?
Yeah.
Is now Smokey Robinson bigger memory than Tony La Russa?
No. No.
Okay.
But it was fun though, you know, coming back here and having those flashbacks of when we pulled up, like just remembering that last time I was here at World Series and where the bus pulled in. You know, we're thinking about us getting off the bus to come here to play in the World Series. It was quite a moment.
Johnson into right center, and Maben runs it down, and the Tigers have swept in a brief 2-game series the Marlins, just like they did to open the season down in Miami. So the Fish and the Tigers, not a good matchup for Miami. Detroit takes all 4 games against the Marlins, and Miami will move on for a 4-game set with the Atlanta Braves starting tomorrow night.